In a very busy, ever-changing society, we need to learn to take time to be present, to reflect, and to be our true selves. My wish for all of you that this show gives you this. Welcome to Conversations with Cleena. Well, hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Cleena. I am very excited about this interview today because I have got my dear friend, co-founder of Little Penny Thoughts, Annette Kelly. Thank you so much.
Cleena, thanks so much for allowing me to be on your wonderful show, so thank you.
Well, Annette, right, we're going to have to try and keep this relatively sensible because when you and I get together, it gets a bit giddy, but that's us. That's our personalities.
Yeah, we love the crack.
Yeah, we love the crack and we're all about embracing our personality. So how have you felt as you have embraced your personality and brought it into your brand? How have you embraced that?
Well, it's been a bit of a journey, as I say, not to sound cheesy or anything, but when Little Penny Thoughts was launched in 2015, I would have hid behind it in many ways, especially online, not really in my local community or amongst friends, but I definitely wouldn't have put myself out there online because maybe of the fear of judgement. But as I realised that nobody is thinking of you at all and you're a passing thought maybe in someone's life, I've really got the confidence just to come out and just be more myself and authentically be Annette, who loves the crack, who loves the chats, and just Annette, not Little Penny, just Annette.
Yeah, and just embracing who you are, because from I have known you since you were a child, we were both children, where there's not that much of an age gap.
Oh, there's a brave.
Don't you dare. I'm not that much older than you. We've had both many things in common, right? So the drama, the mental health, the well-being. So tell us about a typical day for Annette.
Well, there isn't really a typical day for Annette because every day is different. When I was teaching, I'm a former primary school teacher. Every day was nearly like a typical day because I had more structure and routine, and I loved that element of my life, and I loved teaching the young kids. But as I transitioned into personal development coaching and developed the brand alongside my sister Orla, every day is different. But say a Wednesdays are my days with Orla up in Uri, that's where LPT headquarters is, or not even headquarters, just our base, I call it HQ. And we would get together and we would plan content, we would do product planning, catch up, and then the bonus time I get to spend time with my nieces and nephews, so we do work up there. But in other days I could be delivering workshops across the north, I could be online on Zoom, I could be meeting up with my clients, meeting up with my friends, I could be hosting events. My life is, people may see it as chaotic, but for me it's so manageable, and of course I put up these things online, maybe in support of the places and spaces that I'm in. However, it's normality for me, and I have the energy at the minute, but I also have to watch that I don't take on too much because I don't want to burn out. Now, a typical day that you may not see online, I'm very much a family-orientated person. I love nothing more than picking up my nieces and nephews from school, grabbing an ice cream, maybe playing a wee bit of football with them, or any game as such. Just spending time with my family. Sea swimming, I know I put that up online a lot, but I just feel the benefits of it so much. But my happiness lies in simplicity, and the more typical days like that I have, the happier and healthier I am. So I love surrounding myself with my friends, my family. I love my wee coffee dates with my friends, obviously socialising. I love socialising, obviously, we have to, that's part of well-being too. I love going out with my friends, having a wee gin, wee gin and elderflower, if you're buying. But honestly, and I think that there are many pieces of the jigsaw that create well-being within your world. And at the minute, I'm finding my flow. The pieces are knitting together, and I don't always get it right. But the more I spend time with my family, my friends, and make time to be creative and be productive in business, that spills over to my personal life. So my personal and professional life definitely merge together in harmony.
They do.
Rather than working against each other. So I make it work for me by not having a big structure to each day, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, yes, it does. And what I love, there's many things I love about you, and I
What
always
would like?
loved about you, just a couple of 100,000. But one of the many things that I love about you is how real you keep it online, right? On the line, as Daddy would say.
On the line.
On the line. And your personality comes true so perfectly. And yet, I sometimes feel in this world that we live in, everybody's trying to be the same as everyone else. And here we have somebody like you who is very successful, and I'm going to give you all the credit that you deserve, because you are so deserving of it for the amazing work you're doing and the amount of people you're helping. And you do have a massive following. You know, people, there are eyes watching you, and these are human beings. These are people who are going through things in their own lives. And yet you keep it very like mommy banter, good crack. Your true personality comes across, and it reminded me of something Oprah said. If I hadn't known that people really liked my true personality, you know, if I hadn't known I would have made that much money, I would have done it a long time ago. Where do you think it comes from, where people want to always be a better, we're always striving to be a better version of ourselves, but they always want to be somebody else and copying other people?
Well, do you know what? That's never really been in me. I would have admired other people in the past. I also would have been jealous of other people in the past. But now I just know that, you know, you're the only person in this world that is like you is you. You know, that is your power, that is your uniqueness. And if we're trying to play small, or if we're trying to copy other people, we're dimming our own light. And it's come, you know, I was not always like this. No, I would have presented myself as confident in my 20s, but far from it. I was really struggling internally, and I spoke openly about having, you know, depression and anxiety, but it was more through the fear of judgment of what other people think of me and my true personality. Am I too much? Am I too loud? Am I too annoying? Am I a dose? You know, these are real thoughts that would have really crippled me, and I didn't know how to express myself. Now, nobody was thinking that, or nobody actually said that to me. Maybe they were thinking it actually, but nobody actually verbally said.
There was no evidence.
There's no evidence to back up the thought that, you know, you're too much, you're a dose, you're this, that, and other, you're too talkative, you're too chatty, you're too in your face. And this is the stuff I would have said to myself. And it was only when I challenged my inner critic and also went to, you know, cognitive behaviour therapy, CBT, I began to challenge the thoughts that made me feel low about myself, right? So I was the one that was attacking myself through my thoughts, right? But the healthier my thoughts became, the more I became Annette. So I would say I was 100% authentically Annette growing up. I was very blessed with a happy childhood. I went to primary school in Carrick, Moors and Colmcills, went to the Dean, happy-go-lucky, rolled about the Holy Lands for 4 years, and St Mary's at the time of my life. Went to Australia also at the time of my life. But it was only in my mid-20s that I thought, oh no, I'm failing at life. You know, I need to get my you-know-what together. Everyone's got a permanent job, everyone's in a relationship. People are buying cars, look at their lovely houses that they're either renting or buying, and I started to compare myself. So even though I said that I didn't want to be like anyone else, I wanted what they had. But I really wasn't in the frame of mind to believe that I was deserving of it, or not even staying in, now I stay in my own lane and I live my own life through my own lens. But I was too busy scrolling on social media comparing. And you know, comparison is a thief of joy, and it's a route I don't go down now, because it's the route to no town. The only person I compare myself with is Annette in her late 20s, and I know I'm a different person. I feel more like 7-year-old Annette now than 27-year-old Annette, and that is probably one of my biggest achievements, because I don't want to go back to 27-year-old Annette's mindset, where I thought that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't able to, you know, achieve anything in life, that I'd never be able to buy my own home, that I'll never find the love of my life. I lived in the lack, Clena. And the more you live in the lack, you'll never have enough. So now I'm focused on living on what I have. So what am I grateful for? And I know not everyone's into gratitude, but for me, gratitude gives me perspective. It gives me focus. And it fills my cup up and makes me realise what I do have going for me. And see, when you flip the script or flip the switch and start doing that. And it takes work, it takes time, and it's not particularly pleasant. It can be painful, but when you actually dig deep within yourself and get professional support and help to help you challenge those thoughts that are making you play small and not allowing yourself to be your authentic self in your workplace or in your home or on the street. So why is it when we are like so stressed or maybe under pressure, you know, we can put on a face in front of other people and be like, oh, how you doing on the street? And you know, we're like passing ships, you know, well, how are you? And we're actually passing each other before we actually get the answer of how are you? And then you might go home and you might be happy, go lucky to other people in the outside world, but behind closed doors, maybe you're the crappiest version to your family because you're so unhappy or so, you know, miserable because you want to make changes in your life, but you feel stuck. You know, I've been that person and I might be that person again. I don't say that I've ever broke free from anxiety or depression because I work on feeling anxious and paranoid every day. But however, I know I have the resilience, the coping skills through getting support and help that this is going to be like, you know, lifelong skills and lifelong learning. If that makes sense.
Absolutely, it does. It was a very, very powerful answer. There's so many golden nuggets in there. One of the little things was coping skills. So a lot of people out there, you talked about gratitude, and they underestimate the power of gratitude, but yet I was raised to be grateful for everything and everyone and embrace sitting in the discomfort. When the discomfort arises, embrace it. And there's one good movie out there, I'm not too sure if you've seen it, it's a Disney, Inside Out, and it's all about the importance of sadness, this emotion that joy is trying to push to the side. And yet I'm trying to educate my children and any of my clients to educate the next generation that sometimes it's okay to be sad. Sometimes embrace sadness the way you embrace joy.
You see, I only wanted to feel one emotion and one emotion only growing up, and that was happiness and being buzzing and being excited. What's the next thing? I lived on the highs. I lived, you know, like the likes of the drama and the stage. I had so much energy to give, right? But when the highs came, I relished them. When the lows came, I wasn't fit to cope because sadness or fear or, you know, anger wasn't an emotion that fitted in my body because I was too used to being happy-go-lucky, right? So I didn't realise the power of actually feeling your feelings and knowing that all emotions are valid. If you're angry, be angry, say how you feel. You know, you don't have to, you know,
go fight,
but you can actually verbalise why I am sad, why I'm angry. I am sad because I am angry because, instead of, you know, bottling it up, because what happens when you bottle it up? It comes out somewhere. You know,
squeezed. Do you remember we were talking about this?
Yes.
This time last year, the squeezed orange. I had heard, I think it was Wayne Dyer, talk about when you get squeezed in life, whether you get disappointed, let down, you've got yourself in trouble, you've done something you shouldn't have done, or whatever it might be in your life, that's you technically being squeezed. And what comes out, whatever's in there.
And you said an orange, right? I see a lemon, right? Sometimes we're squeezed and our bitterness comes out. But what can we do with that bitterness? We can make lemonade, right? Sometimes we have to do that. We have to turn, either you get bitter or you get better. There's many things that are going to make you better in life. Disappointments, failures, rejections, grief, so many. There are so many emotions that we will unfortunately experience in life that we don't want to experience. But the bottom line is that we have to. We have to experience certain things, but some people aren't unable to feel these things, right? So you have to then identify, you know, your emotions and feelings, and knowing that there's no shame in certain things. I used to be so ashamed that I was down. Surely not. I have a good friends, good family, a good job. You know, what do I have to be down about? But sometimes your emotions can overwhelm you. It was burnout for me. It was trying to do too much that led, you know, I would say my breakthrough. I don't like to call it a breakdown. It's a breakthrough. It was the making of me. And I don't mean to glamorise that. I mean to say that I was brought to my knees for a reason. And it's only through, you know, breaking through and actually hitting maybe rock bottom and realising, right, things have to change here. I have to change my ways. I can't say yes to everything. I have to learn to say no. I have to start being more honest with my emotions. Now, this is all learning in this past 7 years. This isn't just a light bulb moment. This is actually going through the nitty gritty and realising that, you know, there's a way forward here. and we can't always live in the past. You know, we have to move forward, and you know, when you're faced with a challenge, know that deep down you have the coping skills and resilience to get through it, and your bounce back ability. And definitely my deepest challenges in life have really, you know, taught me so much. So as I say in my talks, my pain, which was anxiety and depression, led me to my passion, which is well-being and mental health, and helping others. And now that's my purpose, and I feel fulfilled. However, did I want to go through all that? Absolutely not. I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. But there are so many people listening in here now that are nodding their heads, they get it, they understand, or maybe they know a family member or a friend, know that help is out there and that things can get better, and with the right support and help.
Yeah, and that there's a lesson in everything.
Yes.
That sometimes we do, you said at the start there about flicking the switch and looking at it from a different perspective. What is the lesson in this is something that I was always taught. Like when I got sick and anything I went through in my life, there's a lesson here, Cleona, but it's a lesson for you. So it's always internalizing it, isn't it? And going deep within, and as we said, sitting in the discomfort and different things. But you have shared quite a lot of powerful golden nuggets here, and I know a lot of people are going to learn so much from you today. But if there was one thing out of everything, what was your greatest lesson?
How self-care is the best care, that you can't pour from an empty cup and no one else can do it for you. So you can be so busy looking out for other people and making sure they're okay, and that's great and all, because that's kindness within your character. But if you're not actually doing that to yourself, then you're going to run out of steam.
Yeah, and you'll expect it from other people. And I think this is what people get wrong at times, is they're always expecting the compliment, always expecting other people to fill up their own cup. And yet that's you doing
That's it.
to yourself, being kind to
And
yourself.
it's the simplest things. They don't even have to be expensive. You know, self-care, and it isn't as glamorous as maybe you see online. It's not always hanging out of a hot tub with a big glass of bubbly, even though that's class.
That's nice.
I wouldn't be turning it down.
Is it a form of self-care? Yes, to some extent,
Yes.
but really deep personal self-care is something that is personal.
For me, it's walking in the forest, you know, breathing in that lovely air. For me, it's reading a book. For me, it's dipping in the sea. And for me, it's walking my dog. For me, it's having a cup of tea with daddy or mummy. Spending time with people that matter the most is a big lesson as well. For me, that's self-care, because we're each other's greatest resource. And sometimes we're too busy, and I'm guilty of this, looking down. Scroll, 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 as I call it, a scroll hole. We forget to look up. Who's around you?
Who's there?
So we feel connected online, but what's happening is we're disconnected in the real world, and that makes me sad, because I'm part of the problem at times. So I like this month, I've been set a challenge to spend time with people without my phone. So I either keep the phone in the car or the phone at home, and I found my friendships are getting stronger now. I know it's only this month, but I will hopefully habit stack that and start actually just put the phone down.
Put the phone away, because you and I often talk about that a lot when we're together.
The phone's rarely out with you.
Yeah, but you also, we don't need it, because there's that much to talk about. And I think when you find that in someone, it doesn't matter who it is, where they're from, what age they are, what they've done or haven't done, where they've been in life. If you find that passion and power within a person, you know, and you bring that out in a conversation, you can learn so much from each other.
For sure.
Without a phone.
Oh, that's so true. And like, I just don't want to look up someday and not have the people that mean the most not there, and realise I've wasted so much time in a free app, which is the likes of Facebook and Instagram. I'm so grateful for the platform. Numbers don't matter to me. Wipe the numbers. As long as I can send a message out there, I'm happy. But I was once introduced on the stage as, you know, creator of Little Penny Thoughts, and over 500,000 followers online. I just thought, that is the least interesting fact about me, and it was a fact. However, I challenged it on the stage, saying, you know what, it's not about following, it's about real human connections, and that's where it's at for me. Social media is an amazing resource. I'm so grateful for it. Connections and community that I've built online, but the good stuff is happening beyond the lens of your phone, and that's what I urge people and businesses: let the magic happen in real life, and you can show snippets online and have fun and connect, but just remember what matters most. And for me, it's human connection, and that fills my cup up.
Yeah, and it's those little buttercups that your niece and nephew comes running across the field with.
That's it.
It's all those little moments and
That'll never make social media.
That never can make social media. No. But Annette, this has just been such a joy, and I know my viewers here today are going to learn so much from you. And if you don't, for whatever reason, follow Annette Kelly on social media, I highly recommend you do, because you're so inspirational, not only to me and your close friends and families, but to a massive community of people. And you probably don't realise the amount of people you're helping.
Well, do you know what? That was always the original intention. You know, people ask me about my why, and I just know that words, for me, quotes were a massive part of healing. I know words can either hurt or heal, and words are definitely a very healing force for me, especially the quiet ones that you might flick up on your screen, or the words that you read in a book. So words are a powerful force. The words we say to ourselves.
We need to be careful.
Words we say to others.
Yes.
Be so careful, because words are weapons.
They are. We need to be careful with our words, and we'll leave it at that. Annette, thank you so much, your wee darling.
Thanks
for coming here today.
Thank you.
Many thanks to Annette. I'm sure you've got so much from that, folks. Also, many thanks to our amazing production team here and this week's sponsors. We'll see you soon.